There's something going on with WoW that I want to talk about. Okay, there's something going on. When you go on to Twitch and you look around and you see what's going on. Let's go on to Twitch right now. Let's see what's going on. Let's see what's going on real quick. We browse the games. I mean, look, you can see it right here in my follows. I mean, look, Diablo, Diablo, Diablo. Addison's here playing WoW, but where is World of Warcraft? Where is... There it is. There it is. 23.9k viewers. What is going on? That's not a lot for WoW. I'm used to seeing WoW up here in the top, if not in the top 5. Now, yes, when the expansion comes out, of course, WoW is going to be sitting right up here at the very top as king of all games. But man, I'm telling you, man, I feel it in the streams. I feel it in the game we're making groups. I feel it when I'm off stream. There are not a lot of people playing WoW right now. Now, to be fair, a lot of people who play WoW also play Diablo, and Diablo's where all the hype's at right now. Look at that, almost 100k viewers right now in Diablo. But I feel like Dragonflight has not, you know, it has the ebbs and flows of every expansion, but it hasn't been as high. It just hasn't been reaching the levels that I'm used to seeing with expansions in WoW. Even Shadowlands, I feel like had higher peaks than Dragonflight. And Shadowlands was an absolutely horrid expansion. And I feel like part of the reason why Dragonflight is not doing so good is not because of Dragonflight. It is because of Shadowlands and the damage that it did to the WoW community. Most of my WoW guild is playing Diablo or Final Fantasy. Yeah. Yeah, now Final Fantasy still, you know, it's sitting here behind WoW, right? But the thing is, I've seen, you know, other games come and go from the top. WoW always sits around. But I'm just telling you, I got a gut feeling that things have been a little different with this expansion. So let's talk a little bit about it. I got a video here talking about the current state of World of Warcraft, and then another talking about the future. So let's see where things are going, what's going to happen with our favorite game. Diablo flavor of the month, yes. Yes, I agree. It is right now, but there's just something different. There's something in the air. I could feel it coming in the air tonight, as a wise man once said. Let's watch this video from Doran and see what the numbers really look like.
I feel like Dragonflight can be explained really simply. A good expansion, obviously a lot of new effort, but just no actual hype. After so many people were burned by Shadowlands, Blizzard started playing it safe.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the hype just isn't there. I'm telling you guys, there's something about WoW right now. It's good. I know it. When I play it, I have fun. I enjoy it. I like the game. I like Dragonflight. When I think of Dragonflight, I think positive things. But the hype, the excitement. Like, I've had moments in my life where I couldn't sleep because I was so excited to wake up and play World of Warcraft. Right? I've had those times, many times. And I'm not just talking about when I was a 15-year-old, no worries in my life. I'm talking about me as a fucking 30-year-old having these moments. But that just hasn't been happening so much with Dragonflight. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a lack of hype.
And just world building, but I feel like they might have just taken it to an extreme. We're getting really frequent patches.
Maybe it's Alzheimer's. I don't know.
Storylines, awesome new
There's
features
something
that
wrong.
are fun. But once again, we're waiting a year to figure out what is even going on. And based on the new book being released in November, it's going to take us over a year to figure out who the main villain even is and whether he even is the main villain. While Blizzard has fixed a lot of Shadowlands problems, I feel like they kept the main one in, and that is the actual pacing and taking forever to actually tell a story, which over time just completely disengages people and just kills the hype overall. Now, it's not just the expansion itself. A huge factor is also Shadowlands, where people realized that Blizzard can just change 20 years of lore on a whim. So a ton of people just stopped even caring about the lore itself.
Dragonflight played it too safe.
So what are the problems with Dragonflight this expansion? Is it actually boring? And is it actually going to turn out into a very good expansion?
Oh god, here we go with the fucking Ridge wallet. I guess what I'm gonna say is I don't know if dumbing down the raid is the problem. I don't think a raid needs. I think raiding in Shadowlands was fucking horrible, and it was the hardest raiding it ever been. I mean, it was good. I like Castle Nathria. Castle Nathria was a great raid, but I don't think hard raids means good game, because Vanilla WoW was great and it had fucking easy ass raids. Even BC raiding was easy. It was not 300 mechanics, one-shot mechanics like raiding became in Shadowlands. And if you want to just base it on, you know, hard raid, good expansion, well then Shadowlands would be the best expansion of all, because that was the hardest raiding it ever been. Maybe playing it too safe. Maybe you got something there. Maybe it just feels like there's nothing in Dragonflight. There's so much to do, and yet it doesn't matter. I don't know. Anduin was hard. Made me hype waking up to kill him. Yeah, but I mean, how many kills? I mean, shit, it took us like 85 pulls to get our first kill on Anduin on normal. I don't know. I don't know if hard raiding is the way to build hype. Yes, there is hype when you finally kill the boss, but there's something else missing from the game. I can't touch on it. Maybe it's a Ridge wallet. Maybe everyone has to use code DORA to just get a Ridge wallet, and that'll bring the hype back. I don't know.
So if you don't like it, you can send it back. Now, recently they started making key cases as well, which really fits in.
There it is.
Now,
the key case too.
Code Doron, you can get a great discount, and make sure to just check out my link in the description as well. So rage.com/Doron and use code Doron. When Dragonflight came out, everyone was making videos how this is the best expansion ever, best content ever, but personally, I didn't really want to talk about it until at least 6 months later when the initial hype wears off, we see what is actually going on and we can judge more accurately. And realistically, it is no secret that not only has Dragonflight not sold all that well, but player activity is similar to Shadowlands, if not worse, and probably worse. So let's be real, Shadowlands, expansion-wise, and Dragonflight, it's like...
It hurt the game, man.
Realistically, from this perspective, and from that current perspective, Shadowlands was a disaster. I mean, there was barely any content, story was all over the place.
Like, WoD hurt the game, but it wasn't permanent. It was lack of content, right? It was lack of content. People were like, well, you know, whatever, I guess I'll come back when there's content. And people did. People came back for Legion. But Shadowlands, oh, man. Oh, man. It was bad. It was bad, and it did some irreparable damage, it looks like.
They ruined a bunch of characters, and really, the best way to describe
it destroyed the lore.
Just felt like a
that was a problem.
Different
Big
game,
problem.
And most people just want to forget it existed. I mean, looking back at it, for me, it just feels like just like a bad dream or like some type of an anomaly. Now, Dragonflight, on the other hand, is definitely different. I mean, everyone can notice a change. Blizzard is definitely trying a lot more. They gave us a roadmap for content. They
great, love the roadmaps.
The villains are not as one-dimensional as the Jailer. We're getting new
definitely
mini
better
patches.
villains.
We're getting a bunch of new features, but honestly, even with all that, I just think there is an underlying problem. First of all, the story is really not all that engaging, and a ton of content they do definitely just kind of feels like filler content. While they definitely did fix up the content routes that were terrible back in Shadowlands, I think the biggest issue from that—
Look, the story itself is fine, but I don't know, there's no war in Warcraft anymore. Maybe that's it, I don't know. There was so much more simple, and you know, I like the cross faction and everything for the simple fact that it makes things easier to, you know, group up and do shit. But there's no war. It's like make the dragon friends again, rainbows and stars and happiness. And the problem is the lack of cat girls. Problem solved. Actually, Sam got it. We're done. We don't even have to finish this video.
Remained, and that is the
actual
basing that just
I should have thought of that.
Kills the hype. Someone really needs to tell Blizzard that constant mystery, 200 IQ secret plans of ancient villains as old as Azeroth itself are not the best storytelling device. Keep in mind, 10.1.5 is going to be released soon. We've had so far 4 patches
July 11th.
with the new one, and the next major patch is going to come around fall. That is essentially going to be 1 full year of patches, 6 patches overall. And when you think about it, so many things happen, but nothing.
The content pacing has been good.
It's all these fun little characters and storylines where you're like, that's cool to see again, but it's not like I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to find out what is going to happen. It is almost certain that 10.2 is going to be when the story actually starts unraveling. But once again, we're getting that secret.
Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. But yeah, like he's right. Like the stories are cool. Like you see the cinematic, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's nice. And Ebonhorn, the cinematics have been great and touching to watch. And you're like, oh god, this is so you know, emotional. But has anything given you that feeling like the cinematic where Varian, you know, is at the broken shore and he's slaughtering demons, and then he fucking jumps out of the water and screams for Azeroth and puts his blade through another demon's chest, and you're getting in and you're hyped and you're fucking armoring up and you're ready to click enter world and you're like, yeah, let's fucking go. I want to see what happens next. None of that's going on right now. No, it's more like, you know, Ebonhorn's got a soft chubby, and he's putting his hand on Rathian's shoulder, and Sibelian is touching both their asses, and they're singing Kumbaya, and you're like, oh, that's a nice moment. What's the next quest? Okay, I'm gonna go do that. There's nothing that gets you like, oh shit, yes, let's go. Yeah, and next in-store transmog bright-colored Speedos. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing, like I said, there's no war in Warcraft anymore. Maybe that's what it is.
Plan vibe, but we gotta wait like 2 years for the story to start.
Oh, Dragonflight void of any suspicion.
Speculations and hints that could really just
What's up, Jarps?
I mean, it could be the old gods, the void lords, it could be Queen Ashara, something brand new, a fifth old god.
One where the guy gets hit by the dragon to open Zara.
The storyline is obviously
Zarla cracks me up.
the incarnates, and definitely some old god void stuff in the background, but none of that has really changed all that much since release. I mean, Iridicron started moving, and now he's doing something with Galakron in that time travel scenario. However, the new novel that explains who he even is coming out almost in November, which means there is literally over a year's worth of wait to realize what is even going on and who even are these villains that we've been fighting this entire year. I mean, let's contrast this to the previously very successful expansions. For example, back in Rat, we all knew who was Artis all along. We knew what was the Scourge. He was a really well-established character. We did our best to stop him. In Cataclysm, we saw Deathwing rip the world apart at the start, and we immediately knew his intentions, and we were almost all one step behind him. Now, we can compare this to
maybe it feels like Galakron is just not the real baddie, and we all know that. So we're all kind of sitting here like, Galakron's cool, but he's not the real bad guy, so he's not that cool. Whereas the Lich King or you know, or Deathwing, we're all like, yeah, he's the big bad. When we see him, we should be afraid because he's the biggest bad of them all. I think maybe.
Expansions that Dragonflight is most similar to, and that is Mists of Pandaria. This was a brand new continent, this was brand new
Mists
lore.
didn't have a big
also
bad.
Definitely ambiguous. Mists really had the core of Warcraft with it. I mean, sure, it was a new continent, but we had the first really big Horde and Alliance war, which really is the core of the series.
Watch Anduin be the big bad.
Lei Shan, a brand new character that almost immediately just became a threat, and not some mystery guy with a 12-step plan. And the entire story overall.
The story of Lei Shan was brought out so quickly. It was good.
Now let's contrast this to Dragonflight. First of all,
the pacing was good on that.
I don't think dragons are generally that interesting of a topic in itself when compared to a lot of other things World of Warcraft lore has, but we are getting so much story development on so many minor things, and all this new lore just doesn't have that much to back it up. I mean, personally, I don't think Blizzard understands that it is the established characters that really pull you into the story and build up the hype and the anticipation.
True.
The reason we
like I said,
so much about
Varian on the Broken Shore, what else? Obviously, Arthas. Yeah, Illidan. Like, yeah, the big boys, the big characters. That's what we want to see.
Illidan,
that's what gets you
Outland, Arthas was because they were characters, these were zones we've seen in Warcraft 3. The reason we cared about the Legion was because the Legion has been a team since forever, the arch nemesis, this was like the core of Warcraft. For this reason, I was actually more invested in Shadowlands than I'm currently in Dragonflight, despite Shadowlands just turning out to be a complete disaster.
Maybe the Burning Legion was the true big bad, and once we defeated him, a lot of people felt like, well, Warcraft's done. We did it. We beat the Burning Legion. Everything that's coming after this is added shit. It's that man, Sam. What's up,
Dragonflight? It just feels like Blizzard is playing it too safe. I mean, they're building new characters, new lore, but that's about it. And for that, people are not really all that hype. I mean, I can tell you personally, like from my experience as a WoW YouTuber that is in this like 24/7, the hype has died down so much. It will get
I feel
really
it as a streamer.
Potential,
He's right.
Information, and people just don't even care that much. I mean, there are actual hints that Galakron may be coming back. Queen Ashara could possibly be coming back, and people are just like, okay. I mean, there's 100 hints, not one actually leading somewhere concrete. Personally, I feel like people cared more when we speculated on these things potentially happening in the future as opposed to it actually happening. Another example of this is
I'll be honest, Sakarath's death cinematic, I also feel like turned a lot of people off. Like, people thought, oh, we're going to get a vision from Neltharion, we're going to see something from the Void, and we got nothing. We got Sakarath reaching out his hand as if he had just busted a nut and wanted to sleep for a little bit. And that was it. He reached out into the void and we saw nothing, we heard nothing, and we didn't even get a whisper. Maybe a whisper would have been fine. We got nothing. So I feel like everyone just thought, well, that was anticlimactic. I think I'm going to go play Diablo now.
10.1, I mean, there was so much potential
There's
with
nothing.
this
There's no
major patch.
cliffhanger, no
We've
nothing.
had these caverns, that being secret plans, and this new magic that has been going on. But really, all
the
this
other one
just
was better.
turned into
Is there
a device
another
for
one
a new
out
Black
there?
Dragon aspect, a storyline that was pretty predictable, and we've had the final boss, a guy with about 3 months of development that no one really cared all that much about. Overall, good content, but I just feel like it died down so fast and it was pretty forgettable, especially the setup for this patch, Forbidden Reach. I mean, the zone is essentially dead at this point. Now, I'm not saying it's all bad. Let's address the biggest issue with Dragonflight, and that is not Dragonflight itself. Aside from the facing, I don't feel like Blizzard is actually doing something really wrong with Dragonflight. Like, this is not
They're
some type
not.
of
I
a
feel like
disaster.
it's
I'm
a
not
good
saying Blizzard is
expansion.
really messing things up. In fact, they're
something
doing
missing.
a lot of things right, but I feel like right now we're
Oh,
experiencing
the Black
just
Dragonflight,
a lot
yeah,
of collateral
was a better
damage
story.
from the disaster that was Shadowlands. People were outraged that Blizzard can just change the lore on a whim. They can just make things not canon. They can say this is from this perspective, that perspective. They can ruin a lot of established characters. They can turn iconic items into like Burger King crowns. That so many people just became
Dragonflight is
disenchanted
playing it
with WoW
safer.
lore in general. It just lost the magic that it had to it. And the most reasonable response is that people just started not caring what really happens in the future. I mean, my analogy...
Yeah, Dragonflight's definitely playing it safer. Like, Legion was the response to WoD, right? WoD was like the first real, like, drop-off, like, oh shit, we got a problem. There had been drop-offs before WoD, but WoD hit a level where Blizzard was like, oh shit, all right, what are we going to do to react to this? And what they do, they laid their dicks on the table with Legion. Laid their dicks on the table. They started like I said, cinematic, Broken Shore, the Burning Legion is here. Slaughtering fucking demons, sweaty shit going down, big swords, big dicks, cutting through armies, never-ending waves of demons. Get on your fucking horses and ride into battle. Not to mention we're bringing in a whole new system. These fucking legendary weapons that you've heard of before, now you can use it and build up power throughout the expansion, and by the end, you are fucking God mode. That was what Legion did. That was their response to WoD. Dragonflight was the response to Shadowlands fall off, which was harder than WoD. And how did they respond? They were like, back to basics. Let's go back to basics. Let's just try to be Warcraft again. But calmly, safely. We got dragons. Hey, come to the Dragon Isles. You guys remember the Dragon Isles? Yeah, we got dragons. Come on over. Do some world quests. Do some quests. Kill some world bosses. Do some raiding. Do some transmog. That's it. That was their response. And it's not bad. But it's not hype, I guess is the best way I could put it. What if Dragonflight is the calm before the storm? Hey, it kind of has to be. There should be something crazy coming, Sam, because I think they the back to basics is fine as long as, like you said, there's something coming after. We're gonna need something bigger than Dragonflight. That's for sure.
Is personally how I cared about Game of Thrones until that last season, where I barely even watched it. I mean, I literally never read a thing about that series again. I just became completely disinterested in anything related to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not being just negative for the sake of negativity. I'm not doom-saying here, saying WoW is dead.
It's time to lay their dicks on the table again.
I think overall, Dragonflight is a good expansion. Definitely a lot better than Shadowlands or BFA. But they really need to start improving on the pacing and the storytelling.
Looking back, BFA wasn't that bad.
Needs to move forward. We need new characters.
They fucked up Azerite armor, but honestly, BFA wasn't that bad. Just looking back.
The premise was that we would be back on
saying.
Azeroth, but personally, Dragon Isles just don't really have the Azeroth vibe to it. I mean, it's a completely new
Welcome
zone,
back from your
completely
base. Thanks,
new cities
Snowflakes.
that sometimes feel kind of empty, and we just discovered these things out of nowhere with all these new characters and all this new lore. The Azeroth adventure, for me, was when you explored Duradar because you knew Troll had built Orgrimmar here recently, or going into other city where you knew King Terenas was once ruling from, exploring the ruins
going
of
into that
Lordaeron,
throne room.
going
I've
into
been in there.
Northrend where Arthas docked his ships, or going into Mount Hajil where the battle against Archimond was. Of course, I understand.
True.
I mean, they can't just milk old lore forever
No,
for
they
like
can't.
20 plus years, but the main thing
That's
I
true.
really hope Blizzard can do is stop with the crazy 200 IQ mystery plans with a million hints that could lead anywhere, but that never actually lead anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean,
just
this can definitely be fun, but
Make the plan clear. We don't need mysterious shit like, oh, he just opened up an anus in the world. Why is he doing that? Oh, there's a lab down there. Why are they going there? Oh, okay. The Void is involved. Why is that happening? We don't know shit. We don't know shit. You know why? The whole Avengers Infinity War was great. The whole Infinity Saga. You know why it was great? It was easy to understand. We understood Thanos' goal from day one. He wants to get the Infinity Stones. He wants to get the Gauntlet, and he wants to assemble all the Infinity Stones so he can snap away half the world's population and, in his mind, correct the issues that are have been brought upon the world by overpopulation. Makes sense, right? There was no mystery. There was no why is he doing this. There was no who is doing this. There was no big bad beyond the big bad. No. It was simple. Thanos wants to get the stones. Avengers have to stop him from getting the stones. Thanos wants to snap away half the world. That's it. Made sense. And that's what, the Lich King made sense. Deathwing made sense. The Legion made sense. It all made sense. And from day one, we knew the plan. Now,
can't wait for 2 years to figure
we
out
don't know
what
shit.
is even going on. Like, who are these guys that we're actually fighting?
Fucking expansion's almost over. We still don't know what the fuck's going on.
Time. Keep in mind, they left us with that cliffhanger back in Shadowlands, where it's probably going to be like 2 more years where we figured out what he even meant. And by that point, when we learn what it is, people are going to forget that Jillian even said anything in the first place.
Well, by the time they reveal the plan, nobody's playing anymore. That's a problem.
Because it's really a lot better than Shadowlands. Overall, it is a good expansion, but at the same time, it just feels really dull at certain points, and we really just need a lot more action and a lot less foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Check out the Scott Crusade returning by clicking on the screen, and check out Dorons's Academy for videos on real-world history. See you next time.